Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie and today we're going to get started planting our garden. Super windy out. So we're going to get started, planted the garden, and I thought before I get it planted, I wanted to just show you what the greenhouse looks like. So we've got a small, just a Paul Ram greenhouse, and you can see behind me a bunch of stuff in it. So I thought I'll go through, show you what's in here. It's a little bit of a mess. There's a ton of stuff in here. So I thought maybe I'll take you through and just show you what our greenhouse looks like right before we start getting things planted. It's definitely overgrown a little bit. We should have got this going sooner, but life happens and we're going to do it today. So I'll take you through and show you what we've got in here, and then I'll also show you out in our garden as we get it planted. Okay guys, so as we walk in the greenhouse, the first thing you'll see to the left is a bunch of yellow squash. Now this is huge. It's getting way too big for the containers I have it in. Ideally, I would have already had it planted out in the garden. And it's also just even a little bit wilted this morning. I haven't watered. It's a little easier to get it out of the cups when it's a little drier, but it'll pop right back up. It'll perk up as soon as I water it. And like I said, it's too big for the cups, so kind of tough to keep it watered properly. Got some more plants down here. These bigger ones in the bigger pots are spaghetti squash, some beefsteak tomatoes back there. Now there's weeds growing. We haven't really kept this up. Some more tomatoes, all different varieties. A bunch more plants in here. We'll kind of go through. There's some melons, some cucumbers. I have some Armenian cucumbers in there, a bunch of bell peppers, some specialty peppers back there that just haven't done so well. I had a hard time with my super hot peppers. A bunch of tomatoes. There's some cucumbers in the back. I've got some okra back there, mostly tomatoes. Some more peppers. A couple of melons, tomatoes, bigger tomatoes. A different kind of tomatoes that we wanted to try. A couple more okra back there. A bunch more beefsteak tomatoes that were all too tiny for the plant sale. Now they're getting bigger. We'll see how many of those we use. Some habanero peppers. A mystery plant there that was supposed to be a habanero pepper. I think it's an eggplant. Back down here, so another bunch of plants in there all mixed up. So a bunch of cucumbers, some tomatoes, more cucumbers. Our tomatoes, beefsteaks. So these are getting pretty big. I'll show you that when we plant the garden, but there's just a bunch of them. And they're, you know, a couple feet tall already just in the container. This is our experiment. So this is my Anaheim pepper from last year. I just brought it in when it was freezing out and stuck it in a pot in some dirt, kept it watered all throughout the winter, and it looks like it's coming back. So we're gonna put that out in our garden. That's our first year doing this experiment of saving a pepper plant. Over here, so I just brought these out of the house. I have them on under a light. So a bunch more rattlesnake pole beans, and we did try to start some corn inside. So we'll put this out in the garden today and get it planted. I've got some green onions. On this side, we've got peppers, some tomatoes, some basil here in the front, a lot of jalapenos. We want to grow a lot of jalapenos this year. Just some more random things where I had spots. So I've got some tomatoes. More peppers, so a bunch of Anaheim peppers, some bell peppers. I've got some beans there, some more hot peppers, Anaheim peppers, a bunch of random super hot peppers here. I shouldn't say random, they were rare. I bought a bunch of rare seeds this year and it was tough to grow them, but they're super hot peppers, so I'll show you those when we get them out in the garden. And then over here, I've got some rattlesnake green beans that are just booming. They're actually trying to grow up my greenhouse. Zucchinis, a couple other types of squash, some eggplants in here, and then down here on this side, so one little bell pepper there that just wasn't doing so good. Some eggplants in here, some tomatoes, some kind of squash in there. Bell pepper that is doing really good. A tomato over here that originally didn't sprout but finally did. Some beans in that little tray. And then one more tomato. So that's what our greenhouse is looking like right now. And this is right before we get anything planted out in our garden. So we'll show you kind of what it looks like as we get things planted out in the garden and take you along. It'll probably take us a couple days. We have a lot of plants and we have plenty of garden space. But as you can see, many of our plants have gotten really too big for the containers they're in, and they're definitely ready to get planted out in the garden. So we're gonna load this stuff up in the quad. Okay guys, thanks for watching our little greenhouse tour. Next video, we're gonna show you us planting all the plants out in the garden. So thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. See you next time.